Chosen one, hear this now. God is actively investing in your life. Release your worries. Can you feel it? The atmosphere around you is subtly, yet undeniably shifting. This isn't just a fleeting thought, a mere hope, or a figment of your imagination. It's real. That weight you've been carrying, pressing down with relentless force, is beginning to lift, isn't it? And even though the full manifestation is yet to be seen, your spirit already recognizes and aligns with this newfound truth. God isn't just promising future support. He is funding your life now. The season of anxiety, of relentless self-reliance, is drawing to a close. A divine, supernatural supply chain is taking its place. A source that never runs dry, never falters, and requires no explanation from you. You are being carried by provision, shielded by a divine economy, and surrounded by an abundance that transcends the material realm. If your heart has been heavy, if your mind has been overwhelmed with concerns about the how of it all, I urge you, pause, breathe deeply. Let these words wash over you, enveloping you like the warmth of sunlight. Wishes are materializing, not through brute force or relentless striving, but through a profound spiritual alignment. When you believe, when you speak with intention, when you create, the universe responds. Watch this message to its conclusion. Pour your deepest desires into the comments, and affirm this truth with Amen, followed by the number 99. This moment is not merely a break in your day. It's a realignment with the blessings that are already being released on your behalf. Remember, the energy you project returns amplified. And today, you're tapping into a dimension of heavenly resources unlike any you've experienced before. Now, if you haven't already, show this video some love. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and let's begin this journey together. You've traversed a long and arduous path. You've fought silent battles, endured countless long nights, and displayed unseen perseverance. You walked when others were carried. You gave generously even when you felt depleted. And even when opportunities seemed to vanish, when calls didn't come, when the world seemed to overlook your efforts, you persevered. What you may not have realized then is that God was watching every single moment. Each step, each breath, each instance of quiet determination. It was all witnessed, valued, and remembered. Now, something sacred is unfolding. The resources you require are no longer being withheld. The green light has been given in realms you haven't even entered yet. God is not simply blessing you with what you need. He's blessing you with what will sustain you, elevate you, and surround you with undeniable proof that this divine intervention is beyond your own capabilities. The worry you carried served a purpose. It reminded you that you were never intended to bear this burden alone. But that season of anxiety is now closing, making way for a new door, not one you had to force open, not one you had to construct yourself, but a door that was divinely reserved, with your name written upon it in radiant light. God is funding your life in ways that transcend mere currency. He is unleashing favor, sparking brilliant ideas, forging powerful partnerships, providing unwavering protection, and opening vast platforms for your voice to be heard. And as the pieces begin to fall perfectly into place, you'll look back at those moments when it felt as though nothing was happening and realize that those were the very moments when everything was being divinely orchestrated behind the scenes. You weren't forgotten. You weren't being punished. You were being prepared for a level of provision that cannot be canceled, revoked, or diminished. When God funds your life, He doesn't just give you enough to scrape by. He gives you so much that it overflows, impacting the lives of those around you. He bestows a peace that cannot be shaken, even when storms rage. He provides stamina that carries you through exhaustion. He grants a clarity that dispels every illusion of lack. You begin to walk differently, to think differently, not because external circumstances have changed, but because something profoundly sacred has shifted within. The source isn't the job, the paycheck, the opportunity, or the applause. The source is God. And when He intervenes, the numbers don't add up according to earthly logic. The timing may seem unconventional, even impossible, but everything begins to multiply in your favor. You have known dry spells. You have known what it feels like to pour from an empty cup, to believe without seeing tangible evidence, to wait without receiving answers. But that was your proving ground. That was where your endurance was forged, where your soul grew stronger and more disciplined. It may not have felt like growth at the time. It likely felt like mere survival. But now, what was once survival is transforming into abundance. God is now using everything you've endured to finance the incredible future that awaits you. This isn't merely about reward. It's about fully embracing your true identity. You are not being funded because of what you've done. You're being funded because of who you are, a chosen one, a vessel of light, someone who carries the blueprint of destiny within your very being. As blessings begin to manifest, unexpected calls, approvals, divine timing, even anonymous acts of kindness, you'll experience a strange sense of familiarity, as if it was always meant to be, as if you knew it deep within your soul. That's not coincidence. That's alignment. And when your life is funded by the hand of God, no human delay can impede it, no system can restrict it, and no mistake can cancel it. You're not late. You're not behind. You are precisely on schedule. In fact, what may appear to be a detour is actually a shortcut in disguise. Because when God sponsors your elevation, He ensures that it arrives with unmistakable favor, paving the way for unprecedented success and fulfillment. So, if your eyes still perceive emptiness, do not succumb to panic. Stillness does not equate to absence. Silence does not signify rejection. You are in the stretch of divine tension, the kind that occurs just before the breakthrough. God isn't waiting to see if you qualify. You were pre-approved long ago, and now the release is unfolding gradually, day by day. It may arrive in an unexpected form, but it will carry the unmistakable scent of heaven. You'll know it when it lands. You'll feel the rush of peace, and you'll understand why the waiting had to be this long, this specific, this wholly ordained for you, chosen one. It's your time. The delays didn't break you. They refined you. The losses didn't destroy you. They clarified your vision and purpose. And now, as you stand in this sacred moment of transition, remember this profound truth. The funding isn't coming. It's already here. It has already been approved, signed, and sealed in the heavens. Now it's simply unfolding in perfect divine rhythm. Worry was merely a chapter. Funding is the overarching theme of this new season. God is not holding back. He is pouring out blessings in abundance. And your name is on the list of those receiving this divine flow. You were never meant to shoulder the burden of survival alone. A higher intelligence has always been orchestrating the right moments, redirecting the wrong ones, and keeping you afloat when your strength was failing. And now, this chapter in your journey isn't just about recovering what was lost. It's about evolving into a new version of yourself in the presence of supernatural provision. This isn't a temporary fix, a fleeting moment of luck, or a loan that will eventually come due. What's arriving now is a holy deposit, placed into your life with your name intricately encoded within it. It comes with unwavering certainty, with divine legitimacy. When God funds your life, nothing is missing, nothing is denied, nothing is left out. You are being provided for in ways that surpass your previous imagination. And the most remarkable aspect is that you're not having to chase it. This isn't about relentless hustle anymore. This is about divine flow, a spiritual movement that aligns you with opportunities that are already magnetized to your very presence. You are not forcing your way into doors. You are stepping into doors that have been patiently awaiting your arrival. The funding God is releasing over your life was never intended to be late. It was meant to be precise. And now it's manifesting with that very precision. The people, the places, the moments, all of them are now orbiting around a different center of gravity. One that is fueled by purpose and sustained by divine promise. This is what it feels like when God declares that the time is now. The anxiety you once felt concerning finances, timelines, obligations, and next steps begins to dissipate. You begin to awaken with a sense of lightness in your chest. You observe a newfound calm in situations that once triggered you. You cease attempting to micromanage the outcome and begin to witness the exquisite orchestration of divine movement. You're no longer left to figure it out on your own. The divine plan is being revealed, step by step. And each revelation confirms that you are indeed chosen for this specific time, this elevated level, and this abundance of blessings. Allow this truth to settle deeply within your soul. You will not run out. You will not fall behind. You will not be excluded. The overflow is not just touching you. It's completely surrounding you. There is a divine reason you were placed in this timeline, in this season, with these unique desires and gifts. God knew what He placed within you, and He knew precisely what would be required to activate it. That's why certain people had to exit your life. That's why certain chapters had to close. That's why the loneliness became a necessary crucible. All of it was creating space, clearing the path for true provision to land undisturbed, uncorrupted, and undeniably. And now, your name is inscribed on divine documents, assignments, releases, approvals, and supernatural grants. These are not signed by human hands. These are not systems you must fight to prove your worth within. These are heavenly transactions, invisible to most, yet more real than anything you have ever known. And once these documents are activated, the ripple effect is unstoppable. What begins as a sudden connection or an unexpected payment will soon evolve into a comprehensive lifestyle transformation. What used to be a moment of relief will become your new baseline. What used to be a breakthrough will become your norm. You didn't need to qualify according to the world's limited standards. You were already divinely chosen, and that divine choice came with unlimited access. The very structure of your soul is wired to receive what the world attempts to restrict. You possess divine clearance in spaces that others deem off-limits. That's precisely why your life has felt so unconventional, so inconsistent, so unlike the lives of others. You weren't meant to build from the outside in. You were divinely designed to be filled from the inside out. That's why the funding that's coming to you doesn't resemble what others receive. It's custom designed, tailored precisely to your needs, and utterly sacred. It's just for you. Every time you questioned whether your prayers were being heard, the answer was taking shape. Every moment you felt the silence of heaven, the foundation was quietly being laid. You weren't waiting in vain. You were standing in divine position. And now the response is resounding, clear, and gloriously abundant. Your life is being funded by the only source that never runs dry. Not just financially, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. You are being upgraded from a state of lack into a legacy of abundance, from mere survival into unwavering stability, from constant wondering into absolute knowing. You will begin to notice the shift even in seemingly small things. Bills paid early, a returning client, a project that flourishes with minimal effort, a profound peace that surpasses all human logic. These are not mere coincidences. They are spiritual deposits being made into your daily life. And the more you witness them, the more profoundly you will understand that you were never left to fend for yourself. The promise over your life came with its own divine supply chain, and God is funding it in real time. You'll see people astonished by your remarkable turnaround. You'll hear whispers that attempt to explain how it happened, but deep down, you'll know that it wasn't anything you manufactured. You'll know it wasn't due to strategy, status, or skill. It was a divine decision. It was God's hand moving circumstances in your favor, even when you weren't looking. You didn't need to petition the world for a seat at the table. Heaven has built you a magnificent banquet. And now the feast is being prepared. The atmosphere is shifting, and your name is being called forward. Even the things that were delayed are about to arrive ahead of schedule. The timing is finally catching up to the divine assignment on your life. And you, chosen one, are standing in the midst of a moment that was always destined to be yours. God is not waiting for more favorable conditions to bless you. He is doing it now, against the backdrop of confusion, fear, and instability. He is making your life a resounding signal of divine power. You are being lifted, not just for your own benefit, but for every person who will witness your story and realize that something far greater is at work. There's no need to explain your peace. No need to defend your increase. When God funds your life, the evidence speaks for itself. And those who once questioned your path will be the very ones who inquire about how you found your way. You won't need to justify it. You'll simply live it, quietly, confidently, and gratefully. And everything that was once withheld will now arrive in a flow that reminds you that delay was never denial. It was preparation for something that couldn't be rushed. There's a different weight to your steps now, a different rhythm to your day. Even if you can't fully articulate it yet, something profound has undeniably shifted. The pressure to figure everything out has been replaced with a quiet, unshakable knowing. You're not walking alone. God has stepped into the equation. He's not merely supporting your journey, He's funding it. This means the burden of proof is no longer on your shoulders. The invisible weight you used to carry, the how, the when, the what-ifs has been lifted. You are now being backed by something far more powerful than your own efforts. And that power is making its presence known in undeniable ways. You'll begin to notice strange favor in situations that should have been complex. That appointment you forgot about being rescheduled without penalty. That bill you feared being covered just in time. That door you thought was locked forever swinging open without explanation. You start living in what can only be described as divine assistance. God is not negotiating on your behalf. He is authorizing releases in places where others are still forced to wait. And you'll know it wasn't luck. You'll know it wasn't coincidence. You'll know it was wholly and undeniably divine. This shift is deeply personal, uniquely tailored, and you, chosen one, are the recipient of funding that matches not just your immediate needs, but your ultimate calling. It's manifesting in ways you didn't anticipate, through people you didn't plan to meet, igniting ideas you didn't know you possessed, and creating moments that feel almost too perfectly timed to be real. But they are real. This is what happens when heaven's calendar perfectly aligns with your earthly timeline. The old patterns of delay and confusion are dissolving. And in their place, there is a fresh clarity that arises when you're operating under divine sponsorship. God doesn't fund chaos, He funds vision. And what you've been carrying quietly, faithfully, and sometimes even fearfully, is vision. Vision wrapped in hope. Vision born out of pain. Vision refined through rejection. And now that the appointed time has arrived, that vision is being met with divine provision. The spiritual funding you are receiving is not random. It's the direct result of a sacred decision that this moment in time would mark the beginning of your overflow. Not based on merit, not based on relentless effort, but based on the divine decision to reveal who you truly are and what you are destined to carry into the world. There's no more need to stretch your energy trying to convince people to see your value. No more need to justify why you chose the more challenging path. No more need to compare your journey to the journeys of others. God saw every detour. He saw every sacrifice. And now, He is orchestrating a public demonstration of His favor over your life. Not to prove anything to anyone else, but to remind you that nothing you've endured has been in vain. Every lonely moment, every delayed promise, every door that remained stubbornly closed, they were all protecting the precise timing of this divine release. This isn't just about resources. It's about divine rhythm. You are stepping into a life pace that is no longer reactive. You're no longer scrambling to make ends meet. You're no longer attempting to force a breakthrough. You're no longer trapped in patterns of scarcity thinking. This new pace flows with grace, moves with ease, and carries a momentum that doesn't need to be forced or faked. It's the natural result of a foundation that is rooted not in relentless hustle, but in holiness. God is funding your rhythm now, and it manifests in everything, from your words to your moments of rest to your unwavering resilience. You may feel a strange lightness rising within you. That's the weight of worry being replaced by faith. That's the noise of fear being quieted. That's the volume of doubt being turned down. You are attuning to a new frequency now, one that affirms what you felt deep in your gut all along. You were born to live in overflow, not lack. You were born to be covered and protected, not abandoned. You were born to build with divine resources, not with borrowed strength. And now, that profound knowing is being validated with undeniable evidence. The universe is no longer indifferent to you. Everything is responding to the divine instruction that was whispered over your life. Fund them, support them, surround them, protect them. God is not taking chances with your life. He is orchestrating precision plays that only make perfect sense in hindsight. And what may appear as mere coincidence to others will serve as undeniable confirmation to you. Every shift, every sudden encounter, every unexpected answer. It's all evidence that God's hand is firmly and lovingly upon your life. Your thoughts will shift from worry to wonder. Instead of constantly questioning, "How will I make it?" you'll begin to marvel, "I can't believe this just happened." Instead of lamenting, "Why is it always so hard?" you'll begin to feel, "This is easier than I ever imagined." Not because life has suddenly stopped being life, but because divine funding doesn't just change your outcomes. It fundamentally transforms your perspective. You begin to walk with a different level of peace, even in the face of ongoing uncertainty, because you know that the source is unshakably stable. There will be moments when the overflow catches you completely off guard. You'll check your account and see more than you expected. You'll walk into rooms you thought were beyond your reach. You'll receive answers to prayers you had almost forgotten you had prayed. And with each confirming moment, you'll be reminded, "This is real. This is happening. This is not hype. This is heaven manifesting in my life." So allow yourself to feel it. Allow yourself to truly believe that something extraordinary is unfolding. You are not the exception to the blessing. You are a living example of it. You are not the one who missed out. You are the one who was being deliberately hidden, carefully prepared for divine timing. And now that the time has arrived, you're stepping into what has always been rightfully yours. No more resistance, no more fear, no more doubt. The provision is here. The funding is in place. And God is far from done showing you just how much more is available. Everything is beginning to align. And this alignment isn't fragile or fleeting. What's happening in your life is rooted in something ancient, deep, and meticulously designed for you. The turbulence of your past wasn't the end of your story. It was the necessary passage that led you to this precise moment. And now, God is not only ensuring that you are sustained, but He is also guaranteeing that everything you touch from this point forward will carry the unmistakable mark of divine favor. This isn't merely a hopeful beginning. It's a sacred launch. You've crossed into a new territory where the old rules no longer apply. You'll notice that the challenges which once intimidated you now seem smaller, not because the challenges themselves have shrunk, but because your spiritual capacity has expanded exponentially. You are not who you once were. You're no longer operating from ingrained survival instincts. You're operating from divine instruction. The funding over your life now empowers you to say yes to opportunities you once had to decline. You can plan with unwavering faith instead of being paralyzed by fear. You can move forward with unshakable confidence instead of crippling hesitation. That's what happens when heaven sponsors your steps. The pathway becomes remarkably clearer. The weight becomes noticeably lighter. The provision becomes consistently abundant. And while others may be perplexed, wondering how it's all coming together so seamlessly for you, you'll be too deeply immersed in your divinely ordained purpose to offer explanations. Because this isn't a season for justification or lengthy explanations. It's a season for bold and unapologetic execution. You're not being asked to make others fully understand your journey. You're being invited to walk it out without apology or hesitation. When God funds your life, lengthy explanations become unnecessary. The fruit speaks for itself, the outcomes tell the story, and the unfolding miracles confirm the divine source. You're living in what others might deem rare. But to you, it's simply the natural result of obedience, unwavering faith, and steadfast endurance. There are days approaching when the very environment around you will shift and transform because of your presence. That's how much spiritual power is being divinely funded within you right now. Your energy will enter a room and solutions will naturally unfold. Your ideas will be received with open doors instead of stubborn resistance. The same people who once overlooked you will now find themselves inexplicably drawn to you. Not because you changed your inherent nature, but because the divine signal over your life has been powerfully activated. You are carrying something undeniable and transformative. And it's not your responsibility to shrink it, diminish it, or hide it away. It's your sacred calling to boldly walk in it. What once took months will now take days. What once required intense struggle will now require a graceful surrender. And as you release your desperate need to control every intricate detail, you'll witness God's flawless precision like never before. He's not asking for your stress, your frantic worry, or your sleepless nights. He's offering you his strategic plan, a plan that comes with full and complete funding. The kind of support that answers the question before it's even fully asked. The kind of backing that shows up before the need even visibly arises. You're now living in a divine rhythm where the positive outcome has already been divinely decided. You're simply watching it unfold in its perfect timing. The next time you feel the all-too-familiar urge to panic, remember this profound truth. You are not operating on your own strength or limited resources anymore. The relentless pressure to be your own provider has been permanently removed. You've been divinely promoted from being self-made to being God-backed. And that single shift changes everything. You no longer have to frantically chase opportunities. They are being magnetically drawn to you. You no longer have to exhaust yourself trying to over-explain your vision. It's being effortlessly recognized by those who are divinely appointed to help you build it. You no longer have to beg for assistance. The right hands are being strategically assigned to lift, support, and empower you. This divine funding is often not loud or flashy, but it is always undeniably effective. It doesn't always manifest as a flood of resources. It might initially begin with a subtle whisper, a spark of inspiration, or a seemingly small act of provision. But every seemingly insignificant sign is, in reality, a divine signal. Every single step forward is a powerful statement of what is to come. You are not simply hoping that things will somehow work out. You are now walking in a meticulously orchestrated sequence of miracles that were already scripted into your life from the very beginning. And the more you trust in this divinely ordained plan, the more rapidly it will continue to unfold before your very eyes. Your voice is becoming increasingly powerful. Your vision is becoming undeniably clear. Your life is becoming profoundly full. This is what it feels like when worry finally loses its grip and divine supply triumphantly takes over. You don't have to relentlessly push like you used to. You don't have to shoulder the entire burden like before. God is funding not just your passing moments, but your overarching mission. He's divinely covering what you can't possibly calculate. He's multiplying what you once perceived as meager and insufficient. And he's transforming every perceived setback into a strategic setup for overflow. And though you may still be surrounded by individuals who don't fully comprehend the profound shift you're experiencing, don't let that sow seeds of doubt or confuse your divinely ordained path. God didn't consult with them when he chose to shower you with blessings. He didn't require their approval to mark you as his own. You were divinely selected long before you even fully realized the incredible potential that resided within you. And now, that divinely ordained selection is manifesting in undeniable ways. The very things you once only dared to dream of are steadily becoming your new and beautiful normal. Not because you somehow managed to figure it all out on your own, but because God has been orchestrating it all along. The clarity you're receiving in this season isn't a mere coincidence. It's a powerful confirmation. Confirmation that all of this, every delayed dream, every seemingly lonely, from the depths of night, each silent tear, a hidden prayer, has orchestrated this destined moment. This is where the celestial realm and earthly planes converge, echoing a profound truth. Your name is now synonymous with abundance, indelibly linked to a lasting legacy, and eternally supported by divine sponsorship. Witness it unfold, in conversations that irrevocably alter the course of your life, in unforeseen connections that unlock uncharted paths to serenity, in doors once impenetrable, now swinging open with effortless grace. You are being buoyed by unseen forces, sustained by inexhaustible resources, and guided by a God whose promises stand firm. This is merely the overture. Prepare for a symphony of release, an overflowing of abundance, an unveiling of clarity, and an eruption of joy. And with each wave that washes over you, remember, this wasn't seized through relentless effort, but received through unwavering faith. The elevation you are ascending to is not heralded by clamor. It arrives cloaked in clarity. It requires no shouting or striving. Instead, it envelopes you in a quiet reassurance, a cascade of confirmations that God has assumed complete responsibility for funding your destiny. This transition is permanent. The era of silent struggle, of yearning for acknowledgement, is now relegated to history. You have entered a spiritual season where provision becomes the expected norm. Not because you've discovered a secret formula, but because you have finally surrendered to the unique, divine system designed exclusively for you. What once demanded every ounce of your being simply to survive, now transforms into the fertile ground where miracles take root. The fundamental necessities no longer induce panic. The uncertainties of the future no longer steal your sleep, because deep within your soul, you now possess unwavering knowing. God is not merely close. He is intimately involved. He's not observing from afar. He's actively orchestrating events, moving pieces into perfect alignment. His funding encompasses every facet of your being, from your emotional landscape to your physical environment. And that is why what once shattered you now fortifies you. That is why the burden that once exhausted you now empowers you. You are no longer drawing upon borrowed energy. You are no longer fueled by the crippling anxiety of lack. Instead, you are propelled by the rhythmic cadence of supernatural reassurance. And even when the mechanics behind these moments remain veiled, the results reverberate with undeniable clarity. The seemingly insignificant details begin to coalesce with breathtaking precision. The right individuals extend their hands in affirmation. The crucial calls break through the noise. The transformative connections materialize seemingly by chance. But you understand that it is not chance at all. It is divine choreography. This is the realm of unmerited favor, a landscape of funding that transcends the question of deserving. It responds solely to your alignment. You have transitioned from striving to surrendering, from pleading to receiving. And this act of receiving is not passive, but active. It greets you with the dawn, flows through your decisions, and whispers clarity into your quiet moments. This is not a fleeting blessing, but a continuous system of divine operation, woven into the very fabric of your life's timeline. You are now drawing upon spiritual reserves that are inexhaustible. You are connected to a source that is impervious to economic fluctuations or the need for external approval. The funding was never contingent on external systems. It was, and always will be, spiritual, eternal, and deeply rooted in your purpose. And because of this, the resources will not ebb and flow with shifting circumstances. They will flow in direct response to obedience, impeccable timing, and unwavering trust. Some will struggle to comprehend your ascent. They will attempt to trace your steps, dissect your strategies, even replicate your journey. But they will invariably overlook the crucial element, the invisible hand of God. The grace that financed your rise cannot be duplicated. The provision that filled your void was more than just a check or a fortunate break. It was a sacred decree. And now that it has been activated, it cannot be undone. You have crossed over into a domain of spiritual supply that transcends the tangible world. The atmosphere around you is shifting. What once depleted you now revitalizes you. What once perplexed you now illuminates your path because God is not merely providing. He is reprogramming. You are learning a new way of being, one where stress is not the default, where you don't have to relentlessly pursue what has already been promised, where the future holds no fear because it is already secured by a force greater than any challenge you have faced. You will communicate differently, not from a place of arrogance, but from a place of profound awareness. You will carry a quiet confidence that transforms atmospheres before you even utter a word. Not to impress, but because your very presence now broadcasts what your words need not express. That is the consequence of having your life resourced by heaven. You enter rooms and atmospheres realign. You speak and timing falls into place. You dream and doors spontaneously open. This does not imply that challenges will vanish. It means that your supply is no longer tethered to the challenge. It means the problem no longer incites panic. Because while others are scrambling, you have tapped into an eternal rhythm. You have moved from relying solely on tangible facts to living in harmony with divine frequency. And when that frequency courses through you, even detours become pathways to destiny. Even delays become crucial periods of development. Even rejections become divine redirections. There remain blessings, hidden in plain sight, awaiting your arrival with the unwavering awareness that you are already covered. You will enter meetings where the outcome has already been decided in your favor. You will submit applications and experience an inexplicable sense of peace, knowing that God has already inscribed your name on the list. You will plan with unwavering confidence because you are no longer gambling on your own limited strength. You are operating in alignment with the one who holds all outcomes in his hands. And as you continue to advance, you will rediscover trust in your own instincts. You will recognize that those deep-seated nudges and sacred prompts were never mere feelings, but instructions emanating from the very source of your funding. You will move not to earn, but to align. You will give not from a place of lack, but from a place of overflowing abundance. You will dream not out of desperation, but out of unwavering knowing. That is the transformative power of divine funding. It restores your inherent rhythm. It reignites your imagination. It releases you from the shackles of tension. So when others inquire how you accomplish all that you do, simply smile. Smile because you know the underlying truth. Smile because the evidence of God's hand is now resonating more powerfully than the echoes of your past pain. Smile because you are no longer constrained by the limitations of yesterday. You have been resourced by the most faithful funder in the universe. And he never runs dry. He never withdraws. He never forgets. He funds in absolute fullness. You are no longer pursuing provision. Provision is now pursuing you. And that chosen one is exactly how it was always destined to be. There is a quietly monumental shift unfolding around you in this very moment. It is not accompanied by fanfare or spotlights. It does not clamor for attention, but it is undeniably mighty. It is certain. It is unstoppable. Because when God funds your life, he does not do it in half measures. He funds with finality, with intention, with eternity etched in his mind. And by the time the world attempts to decipher the transformation in your life, the blueprint will already be complete. The foundation will already be laid. The blessing will already be deeply rooted because the divine movement has already commenced. Everything that once seemed distant is now orbiting effortlessly around you. And this time it is not slipping through your fingers. This time you are not operating from a place of scarcity, fear, or self-doubt. You are functioning with grace, unwavering clarity, and bold alignment. The provision is not just arriving. It is here to stay. Because it is not predicated on performance. It is not contingent on how well you articulate yourself. It is not determined by who supports you or who doubts you. It is founded upon a heavenly promise, declared long before anyone else knew your name. And now, your spirit is finally aligning with that profound truth. You have transcended the outdated mindset of needing to prove your worth. You have graduated from the futile exercise of forcing doors open. You have ceased apologizing for the gifts you possess. You are no longer shrinking to accommodate rooms that were never intended to contain you. Because the one who funds your future has no intention of confining you to smallness. His supply is not partial. His blessings do not arrive in fragments. When God funds your life, he funds the entirety of the vision.